what's going on. I have to get more people into the chat. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of time and pass this on to X. And I'm back. I'm going to have to go to Facebook now. Put this here and there. So you guys just kind of wait. All right? Be right back. I'm back. Hey, Dave. Hey, Cross. I'm back. Hey, Dave. Hey, Cross. Oh, man. You smoke that blunt, baby. So anyway, I am just back from seeing Kay. Took her for a short walk, and so I could look at her. She's got a cut above this eye here, so I'm putting Neosporin on it, and it looks like it's getting better. But I think she's gained like 50 pounds now. And I didn't think so till I got her out of the stall. So I'm happy with what is going on. I think she's eating clover in the field, which is a cow can eat clover, a guinea pig can eat clover, a rabbit can eat clover, a goat can eat clover, a sheep can eat clover. Horses, for some reason, don't metabolize it as well, and they drool. So she's drooling. And while I had her out, I let her graze on her lead, and yeah, she put a fair amount of clover in her mouth. So I'm like, Mare, there's a reason why. Stop it. Anyway, let's talk. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the YouTuber Sydney Watson. She's a little easier to take than, you name the people that are up geeks and gamers' asses. She's from Australia, and now she's got a bad take on Kathleen Kennedy, and it's like, it's easier for them to go with the narrative than it is to say, this looks like the end. They're afraid they're going to alienate people. They're afraid that they won't make any money on it. Okay, that's why. But she posted a video about, she posted a ton. First off, how fat acceptance is now disappearing. I'm not exactly as skinny as I used to be. I'm not in the shape I was in. But, I come at this as a former anorexic. That this scar right here, yeah, that came from pneumonia. That came from the flu. Because I got anorexic. I was anorexic. And I got the flu, and it turned into this thing. And I spent 3.5 months at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, recovering. I was in a coma for 6 weeks, near-death experience the whole 9 fucking years. So why my voice is the way it is. I understand eating disorders, but I'm naturally inclined to freak out more so when I see overweight stuff. And I do have friends that are overweight that have had a very hard time. But they are actually some of the first people that say, you gotta lose it. There are so many reasons. I mean, look at Lizzo. She lost a ton of weight. There are other influencers out there that, we're talking about, it's not just feeling good about how your body looks. It's literally about feeling good. And you can't feel good if your knees hurt, if your ankles hurt, everything hurts, right? And of course, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancers, so Sydney was talking about that and how it's starting to disappear. How, Lizzo lost a ton of weight. And she's probably using Ozempic or Mounjaro. But good for her. Good for her. And, she was the one that was screaming, if you criticize my weight, you have fat phobia or some shit like that. It's like, no, my eyes can't take this much ugly. So, Sydney did this video on ugly is dying. I mean, yeah, she did. She had to. But, Sam Smith, the singer, who just went out, non-binary, dressed like a fucking pig, he lost a ton of weight. Now he's looking normal. Was it Demi Lovato? Stopped this non-binary bullshit, is married and is doing cooking videos. Okay, these were all just trends. It's all just a trend. Yeah, I know, that's what I worry about. I don't know what the effects are of Manjaro. That's the other one. I'll never forget, the comedian. God, what was her name? She was in Ghostbusters, Answer the Call. She was in that movie, Bridesmaids. I couldn't stand her character. She was fucking gross. I mean, just hideously gross. She lost a lot of weight. And Barbara Streisand, who weirdly has lost a lot of weight, put it in public. Did you use Ozempic? What were you doing? Now, my thing about these weight loss drugs is simply, if you are that big, okay, I will let you give you a get out of jail free card. But remember, those drugs were specifically developed for diabetes patients. All right. And I've got somebody I know that's using it, but they have diabetes, right? And yeah, the use now and pay later. It's better to eat right, get on a diet plan, and I don't mean, the cabbage soup. I mean, get on a healthy diet plan that is not built on the pyramid, because the pyramid is unhealthy. That is why we have the obesity epidemic. People are addicted to carbohydrates, right? We've got all this going on, and it's better to get a trainer, to get a nutritionist, if you're not seeing signs of diabetes, all right? Because there is a pay, as Dave said, a use now, pay later aspect. But this whole thing that ugliness is leaving, like Victoria's Secret is not going back to actual real lingerie models, Real models are now stalking the runways, not fat, hideous pigs, even though from time to time you do see a more avant-garde, probably lesser designer using that because they want to get attention or something. Anyway, but that is going away. And I say great. Okay, I say great. I mean, you gotta look at it. Some of the influencers, the fat influencers, went from body positivity to, fat pride, I guess, have died. Heart attacks, strokes, all right? So it's like, I might not be as skinny as I used to be, and I'm not, in bikini shape like I was. I was a freaking badass, by the way, back when we got married. Like the first 10 years, but, you get to a point and your metabolism changes, and, you really gotta fight. Now, I am gonna say that a lot of these fat positivity influencers out there were younger, like in their 20s. Okay, fine. When you're 45, you're going to learn a lesson. And it's going to be ugly, okay? So, well, genetics, but it's mostly you're getting towards middle age. You're in middle age. And, you know, as a woman's body changes and a man's body changes, your metabolism starts up like that. And you're fucked. I mean, you are fucked. I mean, there are reasons why, you know, I don't drink beer. Only on, like, you know, St. Patrick's Day. The reason why? You're drinking an entire loaf of bread. All right? No. All right? Again, the pyramid, the food pyramid was absolutely the wrong thing to do. But I'll give you guys a little bit of information and we'll get into Pedro. Back a while, decades ago, before the pyramid, researchers did studies on if fats, trans fats, were the cause of heart disease or was sugar. And what happened is the sugar industry suppressed what they found out about fats. This is why we've got what we've got going on. You know, when I hear trainers saying fats are not the things that are the bad thing, you know, when I hear like somebody trying to lose weight going, you eat bacon, I go, yeah, I don't eat bread. All right. I'd like to. There are days when I do it, but I stay away from it. Why? Because it's got sugar in it and it's got starch. And what happens when starch hits the bloodstream? Turns into sugar, right? Okay. Can't eat that shit. And you can't, I mean, and especially the way we make bread here in the United States. All right. You can go to you know, France and Italy and even Germany and eat their breads and their pastas, and you're not going to see any. Your body's not going to metabolize it in the same way. It doesn't really metabolize bleached, overprocessed white flour, which is in everything. All right, which is literally in everything. In sugar, you can pick up a frozen dinner, flip it over, look at what's in it. You'll see sugar in the ingredients, right? No. Anyway, but yeah, it's like the war on beauty is dying finally, I hope. Anyway, let's talk about Pedro Pascal. So Sydney did a great video on Pedro Pascal saying, quote, she's sick of Pedro. I think we all are. But here are the things I found out. Now, if you haven't seen the video I posted, see the video and come back. Okay. I'm going to reopen it, but I want you guys to watch it. Okay, so watch it. Pedro Pascal's family is actually, their ancestors were Castilian nobility. Castile is in Spain. Pedro Pascal's mother was a psychologist, child psychologist. Her name was Veronica. His dad, Jose, was a fertility doctor. They were aligned with Salvatore Allende. And when the 1973 coup in Chile happened, which I remember, I was 5 years old, but I remember it, and Augusto Pinochet took over, they fled. First, they went to the Venezuelan embassy, and then they went to Denmark. And then Pedro's dad committed tax evasion. He was committing tax fraud, and they came to the United States. So when Pedro talks about being a poor refugee, bullshit. They left because Pinochet's helicopter tours were going on, and they were going to be part of that little operation, and so they left. And to me, fine if you're a political refugee, but don't sit there and compare yourself to Juan Garcia, who sells matchbooks to make enough money to get a bag of beans to feed his children in Tijuana, Mexico, right? Daddy was a doctor. Mommy was a child psychologist. You're from Spanish landed gentry, for fuck's sake. You are not and never have been, quote, poor. Okay? And the reason why I know this, his brother Lux, and I've got a picture of him in the video that I uploaded earlier, is a trans woman. No, he's not a woman. That is a guy who's mentally ill. And I go, why do we have to hear about this, Pedro? Why are you attacking J.K. Rowling for defending women's spaces, women's sports, and women in general? Because your brother is one of those misogynist, mentally ill nutbags who wants to be a woman and can't be. They dig up his bones, and they're going to find in his DNA XY. That's a guy. I don't give a shit if you have fake boobs put on, like the White House stripper, remember that one, or if you have the whole surgery. You're still a fucking man, and you never will be a woman. And there's no reason for you to force me or Dave or Kim or anybody else, Cross, and anybody else here, to force us to tolerate this shit, all right? Archbishop Fulton Sheen said toleration can only go so far. And I'm up to here with the trans movement, and definitely with the LGBTQ movement, because they're so fucking intolerant. And, I'll give you a little statistic. 40% of the kids that go to Brown University identify as some sort of LGBTQ motif, whatever. Now, granted, it's a trend. They're in college. However, that does not bode well for the population. Ilana's right. The population is imploding. Look at what's going on in Italy, Japan, France, Germany. Well, it's not just, I remember, look, it went from accept us, and it's like, just don't tell me what you do at night with whoever. I don't, it's like being stuck between, Israel and everybody else. Leave me the fuck out of it. Please, I beg you. Because if I get involved, I'm going to piss everybody off. All right? I don't want to know. It's not like I don't care. It's like, you guys, get a peace deal. Gaza, turn over Hamas. Tell the Iranians to go fuck themselves. And Bibi, stop bombing everything in sight. Okay? It's very easy. If I had my choice, I'd take a neutron bomb, drop it on Jerusalem, and say, now no one can have it. In 80 years, we can put a cathedral on top of the Temple Mount. And I have another one in Galilee, up in the mountains, and call it the Shrine of the Resurrection or something like that. I'm just, but that's, don't get me involved. It's not my fight. It's not our fight. You know? Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Hi Mike, I don't want to know. We have a gay couple in the neighborhood. They've been gone for a while. I'm thinking they're moving. Their house is there, but I haven't, they haven't been around in a long time. I I don't care. We were talking one day and I said, I'm the kind of person that just minds her own business and I don't care. But I'm also not going to tolerate, and this is where Archbishop Sheen comes in, having it shoved in my face and having it shoved in a kid's face. I mean, that is, you got kids around, those people need to stay away. All right. I'm sorry, it's true. Okay. Anyway, so there's Pedro lecturing all of us in his little gay voice about all of this crap he knows nothing about. Because he was never an illegal alien. He was never a refugee in the way some are, right? He was never, he's never seen a day where he starved. He's got an American accent, for fuck's sake. Okay? Fuck this shit. All right? And now we've got to suffer through his brother Lux, who is mentally unstable. Now, I will give him this. Their mother, Veronica, killed herself in 2000, so God bless her soul. I don't, that's a terrible thing, and we shouldn't, criticize people on that. But you see where the family is, right? This is why. No one thought enough of Lux to go get him help, right? And Daddy's a criminal. Daddy's an out-and-out criminal. He actually committed embryo thievery. He stole embryos and something about putting them into women and what the fuck? So we got that. And then we've got while Gina Carano was getting dragged through the mud, Pedro doesn't say a fucking word. And now, if you remember, when the list came out of people she wanted to depose, Pedro was one of them. Because he got to call all of us sitting here Nazis. Meanwhile, she can't make a lighthearted comment about pronouns. She can't, ask questions about the lockdown, about the efficacy and safety of the vaccines. Now we know the vaccines were dangerous, right? And I can't call myself a pureblood because I got the Moderna one, right? But I didn't. I told my husband, I'm only getting one, and I'm not getting a booster, so don't ask. All right, and we both got COVID. It was not a big deal. You can sit there and get all mad at me like, why aren't you afraid? What I love about people is that when you bring up this stuff and you tell them it's a cold, they get offended. You're supposed to be as afraid of it as they are. It's like, no. Maybe the first iteration, when it was killing people in nursing homes, and there's a story of a guy in Tampa who got it, and the doctor actually gave him ivermectin, and he got better. He lost 20 pounds, and he wasn't big to begin with. Okay, they found out that a lot of the people died because of the stupid ventilators, right? As much as that ventilator helped me, it ruined my voice. It ruined my voice. So, I can understand that. But, you know, Gina's asking legitimate, intelligent questions because you should never take anything for face value. Oh, it's fine. It's never gone through any, what does RFK Jr. call it? A gold star testing? No, they never did that. They got it out there as fast as they could, killed a bunch of people, vaccine injuries, 15-year-old athletes dying of myocarditis. What? It's because, they would not be allowed to go into the sport they wanted to go into unless not only did they get the vaccine, but they were boosted. People still brag that they're boosted. You still see people walking around with masks on. And it's like, you're only doing this to draw attention to yourself. Okay? Anyway, so that's Pedro, though. He gets away from it. He doesn't say anything to defend her. And yet, if you watch the video I made, he's all touchy-touchy with his female co-stars. And I think if Gina ever got into a fight with him, she could kick his ass. All right, that's legitimate. And, this is what's going on. He's going to be in Fantastic Four. And again, we all know that he's the face of the Mandalorian and the voice. And, I had some blue pill, white trash scream at me that Brandon Wayne doesn't have a good enough voice to do Din Djarin. And it's like, have you ever heard the guy talk? Crickets. You ever seen, what was that, The Sons of Anarchy? He was in that. He was in a lot of stuff where he had to act. And it's like, his voice is fine. He's John Wayne's grandson, right? His voice is fine. He could be the Mandalorian. They never needed to hire Pedro Pascal, ever, right? But, Disney probably said, well, we really need a star. And this guy's star is rising. And he's Latino. Checks off a box, which is racist in of itself. Now, Mark Hemingway did that story about the lack of masculinity in Hollywood. And it's like, and I've got that up. If you want to see, I did a video on that last week. I am absolutely appalled at all of this. What did Sydney say about him? He's like the gay adjacent friend, best friend. He's like the gay lounge lizard who you go out to the club and have martinis with, and you both complain about your boyfriends. I mean, seeing, oh God, in his fingernail fetish. His fingernail fetish. There's a video that I've got of him glomming onto women because they have, they're all fake fingernails, by the way. I can see acrylic from a mile away, and he's just, oh, it's so gross. It's so fucking gross. And it's so weird. A fingernail fetish? The hell? Foot fetish. Sex and the City did a hilarious take on that. Charlotte is going on a walk, and she goes past this cross. She goes past the store. She sees the shoes. She goes in the store, and she's trying to save up for a summer share in the Hamptons. So she declines to buy shoes. She goes back in again, and the guy finally says, I will give you a pair if you just try them on for me. He proceeds to fondle her feet, etc., etc. I have never been so fucking grossed out, pardon my F-bombs, in my entire life. But obviously, one of the writers experienced that. Okay, so we got Pedro Pascal on video. Oh, your nails. Oh, you got it going, girl. And all the rest of the stuff. And talking about his obsession with fingernails. This is a guy who's got a brother who thinks he's a woman. All right? Who's got a fingernail fetish. And he's playing the Mandalorian. I'm going to say this. No one now believes that he could do any of the things that Mando does because of this shit. I really don't think Din Djarin has a fingernail fetish. Nor does he sound like, because they modify Fuckstick's voice, he sound like a 12-year-old boy whose balls haven't dropped. Pedro's incidentally 50 years old. Okay, just so you guys know. Okay. And it's like, why? So you've got him doing a spread in a Vanity Fair, probably for the Fantastic Four. And there's one thing where he's got all these people touching his head. It's a video. I thought I was going to puke all over the place. And all these weird pictures of him like in his underwear. And, Vanity Fair used to be something. I remember, in fact, I've got it upstairs, cover with Harrison Ford. I think it's from the year when Patriot Games came out. He's on the cover in a cowboy hat. And the pictures are great. There's a couple of sexy ones of him. Then the next story is Carrie Fisher. Hey, Mazeris! Mazeris is in town. Mazeris is in town. Yay! I think Mazeris is right. They're boring. The shit these people pull is boring. But the fact of the matter is, I am never going to get over his fingernail fetish. I'm watching this, and again, it's like your gay adjacent boyfriend, to borrow from Sydney, going over your outfit and how fierce it looks, and it's like, I've never seen a man ever do that in my life. And I don't have fingernails. One, because I have a horse. And if you're trying to put a saddle on, groom them, cut open a bale of hay, rebuckle her halter on, long fingernails will definitely not help you. Now, my sister-in-law, Linda, has the most obnoxiously awesome real fingernails I've ever seen. She owns 5 horses, but they won't break. Mine will. I look at them and they break. And I also pick at them because I have anxiety issues. It's just me. And I'm like, I don't understand it. I've never seen a guy lose his shit in the weirdest way possible over fingernails. It's on video. Sydney's got it. I've got it. It's there for you all to see. And again, how, when they show his face in Mando and Grogu, are we going to equate that face, which is equated to a guy with a fingernail fetish, to Din Djarin, who just kicked the shit out of 25 stormtroopers? Right? I'm like, are we sick of him? Yes. Does it gross us out? Yes. Is the story about his poor family fleeing correct? They did flee, but they fucking weren't poor. And they could call themselves refugees, but what they were doing was looking for um, political asylum. And Daddy was a very famous fertility doctor, and Mommy was a very famous child psychologist who happened to be directly related to Castilian Spanish landed gentry. So, not poor. Definitely not a peasant. I would really like to see Pablo Hidalgo's ancestry, because I guarantee it's probably the same. Because I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you look at BLM, all the guys that were arrested, give you an example. Tim Kaine's son, Tim Kaine, senator from Virginia, to the U.S. Senate. His son got arrested for vandalism and stuff, and rioting in D.C. His son. Most of the people you saw going in and stealing shit were white kids. Okay? They weren't black. They weren't Hispanic. They were white, privileged kids that were groomed and indoctrinated by their professors and by their teachers, and considering Tim Kaine's son, by his daddy. Okay? So, this stuff with Pedro Pascal, Mommy and Daddy were part of the intelligentsia that were connected to Salvador Allende. Allende gets overthrown. He kills himself. They flee to the Venezuelan embassy when Pedro is 9 months old, and then end up in Denmark. Daddy commits tax fraud. They leave Denmark and come to the United States. That is not exactly the typical, refugee story, right? Because you got a gay, trans son, which is, I'm going to say this, homosexuality, when you start looking at their families, they always come from elite, upper middle class to wealthy backgrounds for some fucking reason. Again, when Junior has too much to do, or too much as far as like things, and his life is not hard, and all right, you're gonna have issues, all right, because rich people get into some weird, freaky shit, which could explain Pedro's fingernail fetish, right? I mean, I would actually like to know what Ruffalo's background is. It's not like, you look at the older actors, Steve McQueen had a very troubled childhood. He joined the Marine Corps, and he got into acting. But, there was a real authenticity to him. Clint Eastwood almost died in a helicopter accident, swam 2 miles to shore, all right, when he was in the Army. Harrison Ford taught himself finished carpentry work so he can make money to feed his family, right? He also did a short gig as like a roadie for the Doors, and in fact was in, that movie that they put out, that documentary. He filmed some of it and was in it by accident, which it's really kind of funny when you see it. But he had a job to do, right? He had to be a guy, right? But Pedro, Daddy was a doctor. Daddy was a crook, but Daddy is a doctor, right? Mommy was a well-known child psychologist. They were both from Castilian landed gentry, all right? He is not a special poor member of the proletariat. He's higher echelon petit bourgeois, if anything, right? And he spews anti-American rhetoric and, pro-violent, illegal alien shit. And it's like, Pedro, shut the fuck up. I don't have time to talk about Mark Ruffalo. I hate that son of a bitch. I'm going to say this. I'd rather see Ed Norton, whose father worked for Jimmy Carter, play the Hulk, because at least Ed Norton is an actor. And, he hasn't had a lot to say lately. There you go. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm losing my voice. I just wanted to rant. Just remember, put this everywhere. Watch the video I uploaded today. The fingernail fetish. And remember, this is Mando. Steph, sending out. See you around the galaxy.